The year 2020 was always going to be a memorable one for Japan. Unfortunately, it turned out to be 12 months most would rather forget, hijacked and thrown wildly off course by the coronavirus pandemic. And while far from being alone in that predicament, it was the only country that had spent 7 years preparing to host the Olympic and Paralympic Games. The Tokyo 2020 Olympics kick off on July 23rd after more than a year's delay. The Games were supposed to demonstrate Japan's resilience and ability to overcome adversity, specifically the 2011 tsunami, earthquake, and Fukushima nuclear disaster. So much so that it was billed by the organisers and the Japanese government as the Recovery Games. When the postponement of the 2020 event was announced, some optimistically noted the additional symbolism of the rescheduled Games coinciding with the 10th anniversary of the natural disaster. Then Prime Minister Shinzo Abe even went so far as to suggest it could be a testament to mankind's defeat of the new virus. Oh, how hopeful he was. As we approached the starting line, with a COVID-19 related state of emergency in Tokyo for the duration of the Games, and with one quintessential element lacking from the Olympic equation in the Japanese capital, crowds, the Recovery Olympics are unlikely to be convincing. It will, however, be pricey. Organisers said that the cost of holding the Games would come to about $14.4 billion US, including $2.8 billion in costs for the unprecedented postponement from 2020. Since then, the projected bill for postponement has risen to $3 billion US. Ouch! In a normal Olympics year, some of that outlay would be offset by an influx of tourists. Not so with this edition of the Games, which promised to be anything but normal. In 2019, Japan welcomed a record 31.9 million international arrivals, who spent $43.6 billion US. The Rugby World Cup, seen as something of a warm-up to the Olympics, helped with achieving those visitor and spending totals. The nation was hoping for a staggering 40 million visitors in 2020. Instead, it received just over 4 million, a 22-year low. The latest figures from the Japan National Tourism Organization show that just 77,000 international visitors entered the country from January to April 2021. And given the stringent border restrictions, it's unlikely many of those have been footloose foreigners with copious amounts of cash to burn. There's also the issue of lost income from ticket sales for Olympic events, with no spectators allowed to attend because of the pandemic. It's estimated that the Tokyo Organizing Committee will lose $800 million US in ticket sales. Of course, these restrictions are in place to keep down the human cost of hosting a major sporting event in the midst of a pandemic. As an executive economist at Nomura Research Institute told Reuters, if the Games trigger the spread of infections and necessitates another emergency declaration, then the economic cost would be much greater, and the human toll would be greater still.